The third, we would like to recommend all participants to adjust the seat position comfortably and prevent the backlight effect. The fourth, please ensure your network has a stable internet connection for your convenience during the event. The fifth, we recommend all participants to use a headset or earphones for clear and better sound. In addition, we kindly ask all participants to fill the online attendance and pre-survey through bit.ly/pre-survey P2P, and the link will be provided in the chat room. We will begin the event shortly. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and good evening, everyone. I will ask you the same question again. I'm very sorry. Can you hear my voice clearly? Okay, then thank you so much, Mbak Bilkis. Good morning, Bapak Ibu. Good evening to the speakers. I would like to welcome you all to the virtual public lecture People to People Relationship Program with today's topic, Getting into Engineering Grad School in USA and the Importance of Co-ops in Engineering Careers on this beautiful Saturday, October 3rd, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, please allow me to greet Dr. Andi Ilham Mahmud from the Secretariat of Majelis Rektor Perguruan Tinggi Negeri Indonesia, MRPTNI. Good morning, Dr. Andi Ilham. Thank you for joining our session today.
Yes, good morning, but I'm not too long because I have a lecture today also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Andi Ilham. And then our speakers today, Dr. Julius Marbaun and Dr. Yustianto Ciptowijoyo from Northeastern University, USA. Hello, Dr. Julius Marbaun and Dr. Yustianto Ciptowijoyo.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
We're good. We're very enthusiastic to hear your lectures today. Thank you for being with us. And all representatives of USA Canada diaspora. And then Dr. Astria Nur Irfansyah as our moderator today, also the PIC for Virtual Public Lecture VPL People to People Relationships Program in the field of engineering. Good morning, Dr. Irfan.
Good morning, Mbak Nastiti. Good morning, Professor Julius, Professor Yustianto, and selamat pagi, Pak Andi Ilham.
Selamat pagi, Pak Irfan.
Selamat pagi, Pak. Selamat malam, Dr. Julius Marbaun dan Pak Dr. Yustianto.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
And also to all lecturers and also students as participants of today's VPL P2P relationship program. On this beautiful day, we are going to have this following agenda. The first is opening of the program, and then the second, the public lecture from two speakers, along with the question and answer session, and then the third is the closing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go to the main event, let us lower our heads to pray for the Almighty God, hoping that today's event will be smooth, beneficial, and fruitful for all of us. Praying begins. Praying ends. Thank you. And before we start the program, please allow me to remind to all participants to fill in the online attendance and pre-survey through bit.ly/pre-survey P2P. The link is provided in the chat room. Later, all participants will also have to fill in the post-survey. And for those who fully participate, both survey will entitle e-certificate. For your information, the duration for filling in the pre-survey would be from the beginning of this session until 9 a.m. So please ensure to complete the pre-survey before 9 a.m. And then for the post-survey, the duration would be from 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. tonight. Be sure to complete both surveys. Thank you. And now, I would like to introduce Dr. Astria Nur Irfansyah as our moderator for today. Okay, our moderator for today is Dr. Astria Nur Irfansyah. We also know him as Dr. Irfan. He is the Assistant Professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Institut Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya. He graduated from University of New South Wales, Australia for master's degree. Wait a minute. For his master's degree and also his doctoral degree. And currently, he is the Senior Manager at ITS Global Engagement, especially for international partnership. Good morning, Dr. Irfan.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, are you ready to start the session?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mbak Nastiti. Thank you.
Yes,
Good
time is
morning,
yours.
everyone. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good morning, everyone. So, according to the schedule, in this virtual public lecture today, presented by two distinguished professors from Northeastern University at Boston, USA. Uh, we plan to use English, so I will present in English. The presenters, the speakers will also present in English, but later on maybe to make it more interactive, we may use also Bahasa Indonesia, especially during the discussions or questions and answer session. So let me introduce you to the speakers today. Let me try to share my screen. Okay, can you see it? So the first speaker is Dr. Julius Marbaun. He had his PhD, master's degree, and bachelor's degree from Oklahoma State University. He's currently an associate teaching professor of the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at Northeastern University, USA. He's also a faculty ambassador for the College of Engineering Department at Northeastern University, USA. His research interest is computer architecture, robotics, and digital logic design. So this happens to be quite similar to my own field. A good morning or good evening, Dr. Julius Marbaun. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you, Dr. Irfan?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this session today. And the next speaker, who's also from Northeastern University, is Dr. Yustianto Cipto Wijoyo. He's an assistant teaching professor in the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department at Northeastern University. Before this, he was also a teaching professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Pennsylvania State University, Bahrain, if I'm not mistaken. And Dr. Yusti, the name he likes to be called, Dr. Yusti, has a background in computational solid mechanics. His bachelor's degree and master's degree in engineering are from University of Michigan. He had his PhD in mechanical engineering from the Mississippi State University, MSU. For over 4 years, he worked as a graduate research assistant at the MSU Center for Advanced Vehicular Systems. Good evening in Boston, Dr. Yusti. How are you?
Good, how are you? Good morning to Indonesia and Dr. Irfan.
Thank you very much. I'm good, thank you. So those are the speakers for today, and the topic for the lecture today is I took a sneak from the title, so it's getting into engineering graduate school in USA, and the importance of co-ops in engineering careers. So these, okay, honestly, from my point of view, I've never went to a US school for study, so I might not be too familiar with the terminology. Co-op, grad school is okay. Co-op, we'll find out, okay? So everyone who joins our session today, let's hear what Dr. Julius Marbaun and Dr. Yustianto Ciptowijoyo have to say about these really interesting opportunities for young people out there who joins with us today. I'm probably not young, and I may not be able to do a co-op maybe. If I was young, oh wow, okay, let's do this. Let's go to USA and do grad school and do co-op. Let's have a career in USA. But I hope everyone, the students especially this morning, can learn a lot from Professor Julius and Professor Yustianto, and maybe they can also share their own personal experience because they're also US graduates. All right. So let's just start the chance for you to present your talk. I'll stop my share screen first. Please welcome Professor Julius. It's your turn to present.
I would like to say thank you for Dr. Irfan for the quick introduction. I would like to say MRPTNI for giving us the opportunity to be here and share some of our experience. And if you have any questions as I go along, I would really appreciate it. If you can send your questions, you can write down your questions on the chat box, like this chat box in here. And then if you, and as I go along, I'll try my best to answer all of your questions. And then after my time, I'm going to yield my time to Professor Yustianto. And then after he's done with his talk, then we'll be more than happy to circle back to the questions and answer them in order that they will receive. So without further ado, I think what I want to do right now is to go ahead and share the PowerPoint slides. I'll be more than happy to make the PowerPoint slides available should you need the PDF version of it. If you need the PDF version of it, you're more than welcome to send me an email, or I can also give it to Dr. Irfan as well for safekeeping. Okay, so let me go ahead and share you the PowerPoint slides. And here we go. So the topic that we've chosen for this lovely morning is titled "Getting into Engineering Graduate School in the U.S. and the Importance of Co-ops in Engineering Careers." And so I will be giving a talk about the graduate school part of it, and then Professor Yustianto is going to give a talk about the co-op part of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive into what we're about to do today. So the agenda in overall view, I'm going to give a quick introduction about who we are and our group, and then after that we're going to discuss two checklists. The first one shall be the non-technical checklist, and then the second one gonna be the technical checklist. So I am the speaker. I am Professor Julius Marbaun. I am with the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department here at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. I've also been elected to be the faculty ambassador for the College of Engineering. If you have any questions regarding Northeastern University, especially at COE, the College of Engineering, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. My email address is j.marpong@northeastern.edu, and feel free to send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to set up time to talk to you. My colleague here, Professor Yustianto Widodo, he's here right now. He's in mechanical and mechanical and industrial engineering department. And special recognition to my chair, Serinifal Study Gadapa. My chair and I went to Indonesia back in September 2019, and he and we went to see Professor Sofyan at Dikti, and we also met Professor Naim also as well. And we also visited Universitas Negeri Malang, ITS Surabaya, and Universitas Sumatera Utara, among other places that we visited. my senior vice provost, Professor Thomas Sheehan, he was the one who he has been supporting us for the global outreach to Indonesia. He's in the area of civil and environmental engineering. He's a really good person, and he's looking forward to meeting a lot of lecturers and students from Indonesia. I think all of you will like him. He's a really good guy. And then I also I went to Indonesia as well back in September 2018. And when I went to Indonesia, I also brought Jeffrey Hengel with me. He's the Senior Director of Grad Admissions. He's one of the key players in order for us to streamline the application process from Indonesia. I think he and Professor Tadigadapa and we spoke at Dikti event. That was about a couple of weeks ago, and just just to say hi and introduce Northeastern University formally to everybody. And special recognition to Professor Ronald Willie. He was the chair of chemical engineering. He is now the vice chair, and he went to Institute Technology. He went to ITS Surabaya, I believe last year as well, and met with Dr. Irfan. He has really good memory of ITS Surabaya, and he's looking forward to coming back, and hopefully he, once this pandemic is over, hopefully he can come with us back to Surabaya as well. So special thank you for him. So if you look at the title, there are two sides of the story that we need to cover. The first side of the story is what I perceive as non-technical checklists. And so when you're really wanting to go to institution here of higher education in the U.S., you may want to do your homework first and see what you can do from a quick Google search. Let's say for the sake of the argument that you want to go to Northeastern University, you can go ahead and Google us and see whether or not we have accepted students from Indonesia. And then assuming that we have, and we do have, and we have accepted students from Indonesia for a very long time. You also wanna see whether or not we have a global outreach website. The odds are if you can find a global outreach website, then the application process normally would be streamlined, and they would be and they will be there to help you out. And then it's really important to know the place before you go there, just in case you get homesick and all that. You probably want to talk to somebody from Indonesia as well, and share experience and everything else. So we do have website, LPDP, and I believe LPDP is open now. Not open now, but they have announced that they're going to open in October 6th. And so far we have 6 lecturers, 6 enam dosen to come to Northeastern University to pursue their PhD. We have also accepted 5 graduate students from LPDP as well, BIT, Bagian Nusa Timur, 5. And 2 more shall be coming in January 2021. 2 lagi akan datang nanti pada bulan Januari 2021. So if you take a look at this, we have signed MOU with a good number of institutions. We are more than happy to sign more MOUs. The purpose of the MOU is to streamline the whole application process. That way we're gonna assign a special code for students who are applying for the institution, and we can go ahead and speed the process a little bit. So that's the purpose of the MOU. You are more than welcome to talk to our associate dean for to explore more MOU. and I'll be more than happy to set up the appointment with you. And feel free to reach out to me by email. I do check my email quite regularly. So our partners, these are the university partners that we have. We've also signed an MOU with DICTI, BPPLN. So if you're interested to come to Northeastern University by using BPPLN, you're more than welcome to do it. We have signed the MOU. Ibu Anis from DICTI will be able to answer any of your questions. We also had the opportunity to go to come and visit Fulbright Aminef, meeting with Mr. Allen there, really nice person. So we've also made a request that, you know, if you have any applicants who want to come to Northeastern University with Fulbright scholarship, feel free to reach out to me as well. And then Jeffrey and I, we work together. Even though I'm technically a professor, but I'm also involved in admission. And should you have any questions about that, let me know as well. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have 7 students who we have 7 students from LPDP BIT. These are the home university. Ada yang dari, so we have students from Universitas Patimura, Universitas Islam Bandung, ITS Surabaya, Negeri Malang, Atma Jaya Yogyakarta, Sanata Dharma Yogyakarta, dan Trisakti Jakarta. So, and I believe that our LPDP students are watching me, hopefully over YouTube, and I would like to say hi to everybody, and don't forget to do your homework. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, so recent Indonesian application came from all of these universities, and we hope that we can get more students coming in to Northern University, not just for graduate students, but for PhD students. You know, we are so fortunate to have all of these great people as well. And we do have our student ambassador, Tikna Emu. She graduated from University of Malang, Universitas Negeri Malang, State University of Malang. And she is our student ambassador, graduate ambassador. She can answer any questions about admission. And then if she cannot answer those questions, she can refer the questions back to Jeffrey Hengel, and then Jeffrey Hengel can reach out to me as well. So in the history of Northeastern University, this is our first time that we have a student ambassador, a student graduate ambassador to help us with the admission. So I would like to give a shout out to Digna Emu. Thank you very much for doing such a great job. And we're so fortunate to have her to help us out a little bit. So we're very excited to have her as well. So that's the first non-technical checklist. And then for the next one, so students usually have, prospective students usually have a hard time figuring out the name of the school that they want to go to. In the US, we use US News. We don't really use QS ranking or Times Higher Education or Shanghai ranking. We do utilize US News. And so 3 things. If you're planning to go to engineering school, the odds are you are going to look at 3 things: the best engineering school, the best national universities or overall, and then the best internship co-op school. And so, you know, like any good professor, we're gonna show you the data about our university. So, you know, in terms of co-op or internship, we are actually #1. Yes, we are #1. So we are so fortunate to have that. We are also ranked number 10th in international business. We are ranked number 11th in most innovative school. That's really good. We are ranked 31st in the best engineering schools. That's also for master and PhD. And we also rank 49th in national university by US News. So if you look at this ranking, they're pretty good. And you are more than welcome to check the website, US News. And then if you also plan to check other universities, go ahead, do that. But we would prefer you to go to Northeastern. I'm sorry for saying that, but hopefully all of you can come and join us and be part of the family. So regarding admission in the USA, it's specific to each university. So there are two types of admission, centralized and decentralized. So normally in a centralized situation, you are going to, more than likely, you're going to have this place called graduate college. So the graduate college will then forward your data to each college, setiap jurusan. So graduate college will go ahead and get all the data. And then if you plan to go to, let's say, electrical and computer engineering department, then the data will be forwarded to my department. If you plan to go to mechanical engineering, then it's going to go to mechanical engineering. The other part of it for decentralized, you need to apply directly to a college. Jadi you need to apply directly untuk setiap jurusan. That's for the decentralized. So how about Northern University? At Northern University is quite decentralized. We have a lot of colleges, jurusan, fakultas. And so we have Bouvet College of Health Studies. We have College Arts, Media and Design. We call it CAMD. We have College of Engineering, COE. We have College of Social Sciences, Humanities, CSSH. College of Professional Studies, College of Science, Business, and that. I think we are missing something. I think that I forgot to put School of Law, and I'm also a law student. I'm doing my master in legal studies. Saya lagi mengerjakan S2 saya di hukum. And if you have any questions about School of Law or College of Professional Studies or any other colleges, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions. It's also important to know what each university offers. For example, in our university, we offer the following selection for Doctor of Philosophy. We also have the traditional Master of Science. At Northern University, we value multidisciplinary studies, and so we have multidisciplinary Master of Science. So we range from the traditional way and we go into the more modern way. So once again, if you have any questions about all this, please feel free to reach out to me. So I said, okay, and one thing that I want to address as soon as possible. Usually whenever I give a talk like this, the questions that oftentimes show up, they revolve around how you would approach a professor. So here in the US, in general, not all of them, especially at Northern University, when you have not submitted your application, we kindly ask you not to email the professors or the deans. We kindly ask you not to ask professors for the funding opportunities. We kindly ask you not to ask professors if they can be an advisor, because professors get hundreds and maybe thousands of emails about this every week. And in our university, we use Microsoft Outlook, and Microsoft Outlook may identify, this type of email as spam, and normally this type of emails get sent directly to spam or junk folder. So if I go to my spam junk folder, I can see I see a lot of people send me an email saying that, hey, Professor Marbaun, can you be my advisor? Can you fund my school? Can you fund me so that I can be your so that I can do study at Northern University? Okay, so the reason for all this, because there really isn't something that ties you into the university just yet. So in order to make that connection, you must complete your online application first, and you have to do it so that we can see that you're being serious about this. If we answer, let's say, 200 emails every week that ask me about funding opportunities and whatnot, oftentimes when I reply back, I never receive anything back from them. So I don't know if they are real or they're just robots. It's not clear. But once you have completed your online application first, once you have completed your online application, then we can do a follow-up on that. So normally the process in our place, Once you complete that, the admission office gonna take a look at it and say, all right, well, everything is good, everything looks to go, everything appears to be in order, and then the documents shall be sent to graduate director. Each department or college, each one of them has a graduate director, and the documents shall be sent to professors. Okay. Now, this is another thing that may come to a shock. So, funding opportunities. So, let's say that you've done your homework and you identify 3 professors, and that lists the name of the students. Normally they do, sometimes they don't. But if you're able to see the list of students that work for them, that's really great. You can try to figure out what's going on. So a lot of people make a mistake that, well, this one professor has like 10 students, so he or she must have a lot of money, a lot of funding opportunity, and those professors should be able to accept me as a PhD student. That's not entirely true. So it all depends on the source of funding. If the source of funding comes from an agency that requires the PhD students to be a US citizen, then we, international students, we are not allowed to receive such funding. So you must be careful with that. If the funding agency says that, yes, you can hire international students to help you with your research, then yes, that will be fine. So you have to be very, very careful with this. Once again, if the funding agency says you cannot hire international students, then we, as international students, we're not allowed to work for the professor. That's just not going to happen. So if you want to know more about this, you're more than welcome to send me an email and we can have a more conversation about this. But know that just because a professor lists students on the website doesn't mean that the professors can hire you. It all depends on the what the agency has to say. Oftentimes, our professors get funding from NSF, National Science Foundation. My colleagues also got a grant from NIH, and we also got donations or grants from private companies, and it all depends on the type of grant that we got. So just to give you a heads up. So another misconception is that, well, I have applied, let's say I've applied to Northern University and everything appears to be order. And, I should be admitted to Northern University. That's not the way it works. It may work like that in some other university, but definitely not in our university. So when you apply, you put all of your resume or CV. You also put your statement of purpose, research statement, and eventually, professors, my colleagues, will read those, and they have to make a decision whether or not they want to admit you to be admitted as a PhD student. This process is not to be taken lightly, because we're talking about 4 to 5 years worth of investment. So if these professors are willing to invest their 4 years or 5 years of their life to help you to get your PhD, then they want to make sure that you have what it takes in order to be successful and to graduate with your PhD degree. It doesn't have to be PhD. It could be any doctoral degree in education. They have Doctor of Education, and we also have a Doctor of Law and Policy as well. So any doctoral program. So the professors will be the one making the decision, not the administration, not me, definitely not the student, not the prospective student. So it must be the professors themselves who must make this decision. It's gonna be an agreement between you and your potential PhD advisor. I think some people told me in PhD advisor or PhD supervisor. It's just a naming, but in the US, we call them PhD advisors, not PhD supervisors. So, and if you don't receive anything back within a week, do not send an email to the professors. And we had cases in the past where potential students kept sending emails to professors every a day or two, and that become troublesome. So spamming professors with annoying emails will make things worse. Just be patient, and then eventually we will have the chance to review your package and make our decision accordingly. Okay, so assuming that you have done all that, you have identified the professors. I'm sorry, you have identified the school that you want to go to. You have identified that there are support groups that can help you, staying here for like the next 4 or 5 years. If you come as a graduate student, master student, we expect you to graduate in 2 years. If you are a PhD student, we expect you to graduate in 4 to 5 years, maybe 6, but definitely not over 7 years. You need to figure out the deadlines. And so the deadlines are found on the web, and you are more than welcome to Google Northeastern University College of Engineering, and then they will tell you all the deadlines. So the deadlines to come to Northeastern University for spring 2021 shall be made in September 15. That's for international students. For fall 2021, you still have time. That will be in December 15. Although we would prefer you to send us our package in November 15. We waive the application fee. Normally we charge $75. But for this semester, we waive the $75. We do require you to have 2 letters of recommendation. You are more than welcome to send us your unofficial transcripts. We will need the official transcript by the time you get here. We will need statement of purpose, resume. GRE is optional for now, which is really good. And for English proficiency, we ask you to do either IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo. The reason we put in Duolingo for this semester is simply because there are so many testing centers that are still closed. So you are more than welcome to use Duolingo. I think for LPDP, you're still required to take either IELTS or TOEFL. Okay. So PhD, the deadline is December 15. This is Indonesian PhD applicants are encouraged to apply by November 15. And then we should be able to make decision by mid-February. However, we'll try to process your paperwork before then. So I'm gonna mention a story after all this, and then that can be used as a reference, hopefully. Application, everything is electronic, no need to mail anything. We don't want to receive like a mail from Indonesia or from any other countries. Everything must be done online, electronically. You need to give me, you need to give us 2 or 3 references, and then you will need to submit your statement of purpose, resume, university transcript, and your TOEFL and IELTS. So that's that. So how about selecting advisor? Well, you can check the university website. You can check the professor's name, and if you go to Northeastern University, you can select the professors by their field, by their area of research. So for my chair, this is Professor Srinivas Tadigadapa. You can clearly see that his research focus are mostly in the area of electrical engineering, in the area of MEMS, and these are selected publications. I am also happy to inform that Professor Srinivas Tadigadapa has accepted 1 lecturer from ITS Surabaya. Pak Srinivas Tadigadapa telah menerima salah satu dosen dari ITS Surabaya untuk menjadi PhD studentnya. Jadi welcome. So the next thing, this is the part that usually uh, that usually that we usually use to screen applicants. So I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. Statement of purpose, general overview. You need to write us a really strong statement of purpose. It's going to be about 1 to 3 page long. You need to emphasize your goals, your scholarly research interests, and you need to reference 1 to 3 Northeastern faculty who interest you. So this is gonna be the format. So oftentimes when I look statement of purpose, it's more about, hey, my name is ABC. This is my background. Let me tell you everything about me. It's going to take about 2-3 page long, and then followed by thank you. You need to stop doing that. Don't do that anymore. Once again, stop doing that. So on the first paragraph, that's gonna be your opening statement and your background. And then for the second paragraph, mention about the reasons for pursuing master or PhD at Northeastern University. And then on the second paragraph, you must mention 2 or 3 potential PhD advisors. Now, what happened if you do not put this? Remember the story that I told you that, when you send this through the online, and then the admission will send this to the professors. Well, if you do not put the name of the professors on the second paragraph, then how can we send this to the professors, right? So it's like sending a letter without, putting where you would like this letter to be sent to. Is not going to happen. So this is the part that usually gets you to be rejected, because you do not mention this. In other departments, in other colleges, or even in other universities I'm aware of, if you do not mention the name of 2 or 3 potential PhD advisors, they're not going to process the paperwork. They're not going to process your package. It's just not going to happen. Okay. Okay, so I said, okay, well, that's good. That's good. So once you have identified 2 or 3 potential PhD advisors, right? I think the next logical thing to do is to relate your research area to each of them, right? So you need to make a case. You need to make a case to each one of them on why you are a good candidate. So tying your research area to each one of them requires you to read their publications. Could be papers, could be books. I mean, all of this information can be found online, but you have to read their papers. One way or the other, you have to read the papers. You must have a unique statement of purpose for every time you apply to a university in the US. You must do that. If you don't do that, then it's gonna be too general, too generic, and oftentimes people just not gonna bother reading them. So you have to make a strong case to each individual university, in our case to Northeastern University, right? And on the last one, we're gonna have a closing statement, and we also have a block on how to write a statement of purpose. The information can be found there. I would strongly recommend everybody to go ahead and look at that. You're more than welcome to Google Northeastern University and put statement of purpose, and then there's going to be a huge block about it. Make sure you identify the area that you need to improve and write accordingly. First paragraph, opening statement, you need to be able to resonate positive energy, and you need to go directly to the point. You have to be unique and genuine. Spend about 2 to 3 lines, because after that, we want to see We want to know your background. I know life is hard and tough. Focus on the positive side and not on the negative side. And make sure that you edit and refine the first paragraph. Think about it as a resume. And each company, I think each person only spend like a good 10 seconds looking at your resume. If the resume has issues all over the place, there goes your 10 seconds. So you need to make a really good impression right off the bat. Okay. Uh, so the next thing that we want to do for the first paragraph, things to avoid and do. Stop projecting your opinion in a matter that may not be appropriate. So I received this a lot. So I graduated from University ABCD, and because of that, I believe I'm smart, and you must accept me. No, that's a big no-no. Um, um, and I also received a couple of statements that states, well, I like talking to people, I know how to manage time, and I have an outstanding intelligence. Well, that may be true, but you need to prove to me that you have what it takes. So rather than giving us your opinion, do state the fact. We want to know the fact. I graduated from University ABCD. That's a fact. While I was pursuing my bachelor degree in such and such, I was heavily involved in, write down your list of activities here. That's a fact. Okay. So do state the fact. Let the professors form their own opinion about you. In a way, think about this as leading by example. So that's what's going on. Okay. For the second paragraph, talk about the reason why you want to pursue. So for example, in here I just put Northeastern University. It could be any university. It could be Harvard, could be MIT, could be UCLA, could be Berkeley, could be anything. So talk about your research background, link your research background with that university. So I have to make specific note in here. So if you're gonna go with MIT, link your research background with MIT. If you're gonna go with Harvard, go with Harvard. If you're gonna go with UCLA, Berkeley, or Brown University, stick with them. So tell me why you want this degree and what courses at that one particular university that excite you the most. Be unique and genuine. Mention 2 or 3 potential PhD advisors and give a reason why they will be good fit for you, and link the research background to yours. That's gonna be the second paragraph. Edit and refine. So always revise, always refine, and get second or third opinions, and I think that'd be great. So this is a typical example that I received from potential applicants. So I want to pursue my PhD at such and such university. So in this case, Northern University, because it's a great university. My friends talk about it a lot. I really do love the area around it. The campus is beautiful. There are many good professors. I believe I will learn a lot from this university. It will make my parents so happy if I can come to this university. That's great. That's great. There's a potential flaw in here. There's a big flaw in here. That is that if I replace that Northern University with Harvard, Oxford, MIT, you name it, then now it becomes generic, right? Because all you have to do is change that one word, and then you can apply to many universities like that. Is this considered a bad thing to do? You be the judge of that. I'll let you be the judge of that. But what I can tell you is that professors' admission will notice this. I can tell you that most universities that I'm aware of, when they identify issues like this, this is gonna raise a yellow or maybe even red flag, right? So now you understand why I keep using my university, so that if I replace that with other university, oh, it's gonna be about the same. So you have to identify each individual places, all right? So Harvard, okay, what's near Harvard? Well, there's a train station. Well, right next to MIT, there's also a train station. So that's not unique enough. So what else? So that if you identify that one unique place right next to that university, right? Then when you change the name of the university to other universities, then that particular statement will not work, that's when we can say that's a genuine statement. Other than that, I'm sorry, but in terms of that, it's not that genuine enough. So I'll let you be the judge of that. Okay. So the next paragraph or so, paragraph 3, talk about professor areas of research. Well, okay. So you said that you want to pursue your PhD. That's fine. You said you want to do your graduate study. That's fine. But you must read at least 3 papers, journal, books, and summarize them. This is the part that most applicants skip. They just don't do this for whatever reasons. And so, and then you also need to link their papers to your area of research and discuss the matter in a more detailed manner. So do paragraph 3, you do paragraph 4, make sure that the statements are good, they're condensed, and they're straightforward. You are more than welcome to use technical jargons, but don't overuse them too much. I'm not asking you to do very technical jargons in here, but I'm not also asking you not to do them, because we have to judge you at this point in time. And if we want to judge you based on your technical knowledge and jargons, that's when the research of statement comes to play. So once again, statement of purpose. If you did not clearly mention 2 or 3 potential graduate or PhD advisors, then it would be very, very hard for the admission to send your package to the right people. You have to do this. And if you need more information, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Okay. So last paragraph, closing statement. So you've mentioned why you want to pursue your PhD or graduate at one certain university. And you want to express gratitude, and you want to avoid proverbs. And then if you want to, and you can also say, if you want to reach out to me at such and such, should you have any questions, you are more than welcome to do it. If you're comfortable in giving your WhatsApp number, do so, edit and refine. So go ahead and do that. That's not a problem. So statement purpose, couple more things. First impression, make it a good one. English, grammar, vocabulary, review, and more review. Ask for a second or third opinion. You may only have one chance at this. Think of this as a test to determine whether you're mature enough to come to our university or any university of that matter. So we want to make sure that you have what it takes to be successful. We want to make sure that whatever it is that you're going to do, we want to make sure that we have all the things that we have on our disposal to make it happen. So that's what's going on. Okay. So a couple of things. Rejected applicant. So this is what we got last time. Personal statement, very general and does not speak to any specific area of research. This is true. The other thing that we notice is that when you're planning to apply to a university, oftentimes they mention about sub-discipline, but they never really drill into what is it that you want to do. So it's just a little bit of vague, and we want you to get more into the details part of it. And third one, so the name of my department is Electrical and Computer Engineering Department. It's not electronics department. So when we receive applicant that states that, I would like to do my PhD in electronics engineering and electronics department, but we don't have electronics department, right off the bat we can see that the letter probably was meant for other university and not for our university. So that usually gets flagged. And so language skills, use vocabularies, make sure that you don't do things in vague, make sure that you use vocabularies as needed. Okay. So strong research statement, 3 pages in general, mention your research background in greater details, mention your research strengths and how they can be used to complete your research, how you can relate your research with 2-3 faculty members. Paragraph 1, research objective. Tell us, tell your potential PhD advisor what it is that you're planning to do. Don't try to overreach, because when you try to overreach, we can say that maybe what you're trying to do cannot be achieved in 5 years. Maybe that will take 10 years. So that's a judgment call. So make sure that your research objective is something that you can achieve within 4 to 5 years. Try to condense your statements. Do not make them too long. And then for your second paragraph, talk about your current research. And then for the next 2 or 3 paragraphs, make sure that you relate your research area to each individual potential PhD advisor. Talk about the research paper, journals, write your opinion summary. And on the last statement, on the last paragraph, you're going to be talking about closing statement. Now, many research statements that I've read so far skip paragraph 3 or 4. That's to an extent, that's fine. But if you have identified potential PhD advisors that you have met, that you would like to work with them, then I believe that the research statement must be written so that it would fit the context that you're trying to do right now. Okay, so research statement, I'll be more than happy to work with you on that one. Tips: takes a couple of iterations. Do not wait until the very last minute. Do not rush this. Use proper citation. You need to have unique research statement for every university you apply for. Edit and refine as we move on. Resume. You need to adhere to US standard. You have to follow the US standard. So what the US standard says, that no picture, no date of birth, no need to write down your religion. So emphasize your goals. So a couple of questions that normally come to my desk. Can I put my GPA or index prestasi cumulative? Yes, you can. But be very careful. If you put your GPA and the reviewer is not impressed with your thesis or publication or work, what will this do? It's a judgment call. My own personal opinion, I do not want to put my GPA in there because I'm afraid that will create a certain level of bias. I like to hide my GPA. I will let my own publication do the work. Should I put my address on my resume? If you want to, but if you don't want to, then don't do it. If you're not comfortable, then don't do it. Some people do, some people don't. I don't put my address. When you list your publication, make sure that you show the order of authors and your name is clearly shown in bold. Do not lie on your resume. Professors will catch your lies. And you need to start with your recent work publication and move backward. So regarding this, I've seen cases where this happened maybe about 6-7 years ago, that I noticed that when I got resume from people, I tried to trace the paper and I just couldn't find the papers. So at least from my point of view, I will make sure that the papers that you mentioned on your resume, I'm going to check some of them, maybe not all of them. I'm going to take a random sample. And if I see some issues, then that's when I need to start digging and trying to figure out what's going on with this list of publications. So this happened in the past. This doesn't happen quite often. And just make sure that whatever you put on your resume or CV, that's something that is true, something that is a fact. And not to mention that if you are going on a round with your potential PhD advisors, you have to defend your resume and CV with your life. If you're not able to recall some of the work that you did with in your earlier publication, you should take a look at them before the interview so that the interview can go a little bit better. Yeah. Bukan begitu, Dr. Ivan?
Yes,
Yes.
very good. Right on
Yeah.
time.
So if you lie on your resume, Dr. Ivan will know. And when a professor catches somebody lying, just be very, very careful with what's coming next. That's usually academic discipline, isn't that right, Dr. Irfan?
Yes, and to another point, Prof. Julius, it's already 9 o'clock.
Okay.
If you can try to conclude this.
Okay. Yeah. So the next one is just.
To...
Okay. Yeah. The next one is just resume. Use action verbs, checklist. As you can see, these are the examples of the resume. Pretty straightforward. You put your name on the top. You put the education. You put the experience, and this is just an example. There are so many examples on the web. Make sure that you stick with one sample and go with that. Okay. So transcripts. Make sure that all the transcripts are written in English. If they're not written in English, then you need to have them certified and get them translated to English. And then in recommendations, make sure that you make sure that you get 2 or 3 recommenders. So in many universities in the US, they will send an email to your recommenders, and they're gonna be able to write a recommendation letter. But English will cause issues, and these are 2 bad examples. I know the candidate. That person goes to my class often, but never wins any awards. Please don't write that. I know the candidate, but the candidate always studies late and gets sick. Don't write that. So make sure that your recommenders can write a good recommendation about you and about your research and all that good stuff. Other than that, if you have any difficulties or any questions, find me. I'm the COE faculty ambassador. I'll be able to answer any questions about the culture, the admission culture here, the funding MOU. I can bridge your question with your potential PhD advisors. Any questions? If not, I think that's all I have, Dr. Irfan. I apologize for taking the time a little bit too much.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Julius. So since it's already 9 o'clock, I think we can go straight away to part 2. I actually have some questions in my mind already, but I'll postpone it until a bit later, if that's okay. All right. The next part of the talk will be delivered by Dr. Yustianto. Hello, Dr. Yustianto. Are you ready? So, Professor Julius, while waiting for Dr. Yusti, so I was also wondering if the admission is similar to the USA, because you talk a bit about the variation in admission and maybe the timing, and the last slides that you mentioned was about CV. I once went to this also webinar on CV writing. What you have to put in a CV is your achievements, everything you have, you put in there. But maybe for students here, they don't have the enough experiences yet. So maybe you can give some insights later on what they need to do while they're in school right now, while they're still in university. What can become, what can make it appear look. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Julius. Next, we will invite Dr. Yusti for the second part of the talk. And he will be talking, I think, more about the importance of co-op. Or is that correct, Dr. Yusti? But first of all, I think I can...
I mean, I think for the co-op part, if Professor Yusti wants, I think with the co-op, Professor Yusti, if you're more comfortable in just having a dialogue, I think that's a little bit better. I mean, rather than using slides. I'll leave it up to you.
Okay.
I think why don't I just go through the slides in a rather casual manner, and then you can ask
Professor
questions.
Julius, can you also, yeah, Professor Julius, can you kindly stop the
Stop
sharing?
share. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, now we can see Dr. Yustin. Please, you can start, Dr. Yustin.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming today and participating. I would also like to thank the administrators and Professor Irfan who make this happen. And so the way I'm going to do my part of the talk is I'm going to present in a rather casual manner. And this is not going to be long. And then I can answer questions as we go. Okay. That way it'll make it more friendlier. It will make it more interactive. And if you would like me to answer in Bahasa Indonesia, I will be um, glad to do so, or even Surabayan if you want to, I can do that as well. But the default in my communication when I present my slides will be in English. Okay, so let's get started. My part is to talk about the co-op. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to explain to you what co-op is all about, and how is co-op different from internship. And uh, and in our school we can show, I mean, we also have dedicated faculty and staff members that will help you to find jobs, co-op jobs. And how will this benefit Indonesia, of course. And this could also be a resume highlighter, like this can greatly benefit you and boost your resume by doing co-op. And it's also helpful in changing the old culture in Indonesia, because when we graduate from schools, we have all the degrees, but then people would ask, okay, so you get all these nice degrees, fancy and all that, but do you have experience? Do you have anything that um, backs it up, or do you have anything that enhances your experience, academic and industrial? And then you can also check some companies in our website for, um, you can check names, you can find the names of companies that have um, done or offered co-op jobs through us. Okay, so this is my name, Yustianto Ciptawijaya. I'm an assistant teaching professor in the Mechanical and Industrial Engineering Department at Northeastern. I'm from Surabaya. I went to school in Kepanjen, so I feel like home talking to all my fellow Surabaya people. And Salam Wani Surabaya. So this is my colleague, Professor Julius Marbaun. And okay, so what is co-op? So co-op is actually short for cooperative education. So the idea is that rather than just going through school and accumulating knowledge, book knowledge, classroom knowledge, we are hoping that our students engage in real world experiences. And at the same time, they explore career paths. Uh, you can use this as a dry run to find out what it is that you want to do when you graduate, what kind of jobs you'll be setting your career for someday. And of course, developing new skills and building network, right? Because when you go to work for these companies through school, you develop ties, and then hopefully once you graduate and get your degree, you have experience with these people, these people, and they are more likely to hire you as a result. Okay, and so just to give you some number, more than 1,000 graduate engineering students participated in co-op last year at our university. So what is a co-op? So what defines a co-op? Is this just any job? So if I work for a company and running the Xerox machines, or if I'm serving coffee to the boss. Is that considered a co-op job? No. A co-op job by definition must be a technical one. So it should align with your major. It should be in parallel. It should be parallel to what you are learning and hope to achieve in your major. And the co-op length you can choose. Some can be 4 months, some can be 6 months, and some can be 8 months. And this is a full-time job. This is not a part-time job. Or in Indonesian, this is not magang. Okay, this is not magang. This is a full-time job. You are actually working full-time, 40 hours a week for a company. And where is the job? In the US and even globally, anywhere you want to be, you have the choice. And the good thing about it is that you're getting paid. Who does not like getting paid? You will make money, real money, not small amount, but you're actually making real engineer's salary within those months that you're working. And the nice thing is that when you do a co-op, this will be mentioned on your transcript. It will say that you have done this co-op, although it is not for credit, but there is a record of you having done co-op. And this is also part of the curricular practical training. So that part of the reason we do this is because when you get a job, when you graduate, not only do you have a good transcript that says that you're smart, but it also says that you have experience and you can do the job later on for whichever company you are going to apply for a job. Okay, so what are the learning outcomes for co-op? I'm not going to read one by one. You can all read what I'm showing you here, but the summary is that we are going. So the goal is to integrate the knowledge and skills that you have seen in the classroom and apply it to the real world. So in the end, you become a well-rounded, all-around good engineer. And of course, it also teaches you how to behave professionally, because like when you go out there in the real world, you have to learn what we call responsibilities. You have to meet the deadlines. You have to be on time. You cannot just take some time off just because you feel like it. Just like when you're in class, hey, I don't feel like going to class, I'm going to skip it. That's not going to work it. That's not going to cut it in the real world. You have responsibilities, you have deadlines, you have projects, and you have to get them done. So think of it as a real world experience while you're still learning at school. So that is the benefit. Okay, so I see that some people are raising hands. So would you like to ask the question?
Hello, can I see who raised their hand? I think
Zika?
you can continue because maybe that was accidental.
Okay, all right. So some of the companies that have worked with us in the past, you see there are some really, really big time, big name companies. You know Amazon.com, you know Apple, you know Verizon. Verizon is what is that? Cellular phone provider. In Indonesia, this is probably equivalent to Indosat or something like that, right? Cisco makes electronics. IBM, makes laptops, computers. Dell, Bose makes speakers, and Tesla makes nice cars. So we have sent our students all over these companies to gain experience. Okay, and so where do our engineering graduate students work on the co-op? Globally, they work in 13 countries. Of course, the majority will be in the US because we have most ties with the companies inside, like in the country. But they have been to other countries as well. They've been to China, they've been to Europe, and some other countries. Although, yeah, the majority, I do admit that they still have their jobs or get their jobs in the US. As far as the US, 76% of them get jobs in Massachusetts. Well, because Northeastern is in Massachusetts, of course, it only makes sense that our students go to local companies, right? But that's not the only state, right? They can still go to California, they go to Washington, they go to New York, and they go to some other states. Okay, so one of the things that people asked is that during this pandemic, this coronavirus thing, how are we still operating? Are we still, well, we're still operating within limits, and but we have reopened campus, although with a lot of health and safety precautions put in place. So yeah, we're still operating. People are still going on co-ops, and so that's about it for my presentation. Like I said, I was going to keep it short and sweet. And unless Professor Julius would like to uh, add to what's been said.
Professor Julius, do you want anything to say?
Yeah. So a couple of things though. I believe in the idea of having a real life experience. I believe that when you're having your internship in a company prior to graduation date, oftentimes students normally get an offer letter right before they graduate, and so this oftentimes happens. And so for students who do that, they normally don't have that much difficulties in finding job. Another thing that I can see from the overall internship and co-op environment is that this notion that companies would prefer to hire students as soon as possible. So when I was a student, people kept telling me that I should be getting internship or co-op when I'm a junior or senior type student, level student, about to graduate. That's not entirely true. So I know that in many companies, they would prefer to hire students when, after they're done with their first 2 semesters here in the US. So let's say that you get into university in fall of 2020, and then you do your study in spring 2021. And in summer 2021, you're going to be doing your internship or co-op. And then when that normally happens is that the particular company would want you back in summer 2022 and summer 2023 and maybe even summer 2024. And then hopefully that company gonna go ahead and hire you by the time you graduate. So there's also a notion that if you don't like your first internship or co-op, you can find another internship or co-op in different companies. And as you move forward, you can go ahead and do that. So that's that one. I believe that's a good thing. So if you're asking me the whole process, some universities do have co-op faculty members. Some universities don't. And so in our institutions, we do have co-op faculty members where they reach out to other companies, but in some other university they don't, where students have to find their own internship and co-op. And so just to give you a heads up on that one. Give me a second. Give me a second. So that's that. If you're asking me about the difference in pay between the engineering and non-engineering students, I think there's a big significance grade in pay. Just so that's something that you can probably negotiate with your company. So just to give you a heads up on that one. Without any other questions for me, Dr. Irfan, or are we ready to answer questions for
Yes. Thank you very
from
much.
our attendants?
Thank you very much, Professor Julius, for the additional information about how important the co-op is or internship. And yes, I think we can move on to the questions and answer session. I did not anticipate that the presentation by Professor Cristianto was so quick. Thank you very much. It's very clear though, quick but very clear and to the point. So it has a continuation. Professor Julius mentioned about what we need to prepare, and one of them is CV, and to you need to have really an impressive CV, right? And so let's move on to the questions. And we have here some questions from many students from different universities. The first question comes from ITS Surabaya, maybe Professor Eustace's hometown, I think. So
yes.
The question is from, her name. Her name is Marshanda Febriana Putri. She asked, she's from electrical engineering. This question is for Professor Julius Marbaun. She's asking, what is being the most consideration in applying for admission to universities in the USA? What is the actual sentence is that what is the most consideration in applying? Is Mashanda here? Maybe Mashanda, can you try to clarify your question? So are you asking how to choose a place to study, a university in America, or what you have to prepare and to consider beforehand? Is Miss Mashanda here? Mashanda Febriana?
Yes. Yes.
Oh yes, please. Can you clarify your question? Good morning.
Good morning. What I mean is, in the university's perspective, dalam penilaian untuk mahasiswa yang baik, jadi yang bisa diterima.
Jadi kalau saya bisa tanya, kriteria apa yang digunakan untuk menerima mahasiswa, begitu ya?
Yang jadi pertimbangan universitasnya, pertimbangannya paling berat ya.
Oke. Ada lagi atau hanya itu aja ya? Oh ya,
Sudah itu aja.
Oke. Jadi ini pertanyaannya sama kayak itu ya, sama kayak ulangan saya biasanya Dr. Irfan. Pertanyaannya pendek tapi jawabannya panjang gitu ya. Nah, jadi untuk menjawab pertanyaan ini biasanya di universitas di USA itu dia menggunakan holistic review. Oh, holistic review ini apa, Prof? Kayak namanya keren banget kan gitu. Holistic review ini artinya kita tidak melihat hanya dari satu sisi. Kita juga melihat dari sisi-sisi yang lainnya. Contohnya begini. Mungkin karena ada satu murid, kita nggak membicarakan Anda, tapi kita membicarakan murid secara general ya. Jadi kalau ada murid A misalnya gitu, murid A ini dia mungkin baru lulus S1 dan baru mungkin ada sekitar 2-3 publikasi ya. Jadi biasanya yang kita lihat itu tidak hanya publikasinya saja, tapi kita juga lihat dari nilainya, misalnya nilai TOEFL-nya, nilai GRE-nya, dan yang kita lihat juga itu nilai service-nya. Jadi kalaupun ada satu kekurangan, apakah kita bisa melihat hal sifat lain yang kita bisa pakai untuk membantu aplikan ini. Misalnya service-nya apa? Oh, saya service-nya itu membantu ini, membantu itu, membantu ini. Terus hasilnya apa? Hasilnya ini, hasilnya itu. Nah, nanti itu kita bisa pakai sebagai suplemen untuk melihat kalau ada kekurangan yang lain. Enggak untuk menutupi, tapi kita melihat untuk apakah ini bisa kita gunakan. Jadi semuanya ini kita lakukan untuk menjawab dua pertanyaan sebenarnya. Pertanyaan inti yang kedua. Pertanyaan inti pertama, apakah dia sudah dewasa dalam pemikiran? Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, apakah dia sudah dewasa dalam memecahkan masalah? Itu yang kedua. Jadi kalau kita lihat dia sudah memenuhi unsur pertama dan unsur kedua, dan itu misalnya nanti sudah diinterview, terus bisa mengungkapkan hasilnya, atau enggak mengungkapkan rangkaian pemikirannya, itu yang sebenarnya kita inginkan. Gitu. Jadi kalau banyak dosen itu kan nanya ya, 1+1 kan memang 2 ya. Tapi apakah benar 1+1 itu harus selalu 2? Apakah ada filosofi yang nanya? Gitu kan. Nah, jadi walaupun itu mungkin contohnya nggak gitu tepat, tapi kira-kira itu memberikan persepsi bahwa kita tidak hanya melihat, setidaknya dari saya tidak hanya melihat dari nilai GRE. Karena begini, kalau misalnya tiba-tiba kita sakit demamnya 2 hari, 2 malam ya, Dr. Irfan ya, sebelum ngambil tesnya. Terus kan udah bayar, terus duitnya nggak bisa balik. Kan harus tetap ngambil nilai, tetap harus ngambil GRE-nya ya, atau ngambil TOEFL-nya. Nah, itu kita faktorkan juga seperti begitu. Jadi, untuk menjawab pertanyaannya itu sebenarnya itu holistic review, di mana kita melihat semua paketnya. Nah, tapi Prof, saya orangnya malu-malu, nggak mau masukin semuanya. Wah, nggak bisa juga. Ibaratnya kayak ngambil ulangan kan. Kita hanya bisa menilai apa yang tertulis di dalam ulangan tersebut, ya kan? Kalau ulangannya sudah selesai kan, nggak bisa tulis lagi jawabannya kan gitu. Nah, jadi untuk menjawab pertanyaannya holistic review, semuanya dimasukkan. Jadi dari tempat kami itu kan ada 3 ya, research, service, sama teaching. Nah, kalau teachingnya itu pernah enggak misalnya membantu murid-murid SMP SMA, itu kami akan lihat juga kan, ini misalnya calon kandidat A ini sering membantu mengajar murid-murid SMP SMA. Nah, itu sudah sangat bagus sekali nilai-nilai positifnya. Jadi dan juga memang apalagi di engineering, memang salah satu program utamanya di Amerika ini untuk meningkatkan murid yang dari luar negeri, terutama wanita. Nah, itu memang salah satu programnya. Jadi kami dari dosen itu setidaknya untuk saya dan rekan-rekan saya itu yang saya lihat itu, kita tidak hanya menekan satu sisi, sekali lagi saya ulang lagi, tapi kita melihat dari semua sisinya, kita melihat dari semua paketnya. Kira-kira begitu jawabannya Dr. Irfan ya.
Oh, thank you very much. Terima kasih, Pak Julius. For the next question, there's an interesting question from Surabaya again, but this time it's from UPN Veteran Jawa Timur. Hafidya Noistia Pramesti asked, in a pandemic era like this, are there any specific tips for co-op or internship in large companies? As you know, in Indonesia, it's during this pandemic, many people still work from home. There's travel restrictions everywhere. Are there any tips to do co-op or internships in large companies?
So it all depends on the type of co-op that you're planning to do. For example, in my area, in the area of computer architecture, where you can design a processor, memory, cache design, you can do the simulation. You can do everything from home, but yet you can still do co-op. So the company that I'm aware of would be able to go ahead and give you your assignment on what you want, on what you need to do, and then the company should be able to give you the software that you can link from your home. Sometimes you have to use VPN in order to do it. Sometimes you don't. However the companies want to do it. And but if for certain co-op or internship where you have to come to the place, at least here in the U.S., in many states, they don't want that to happen. So what happened for the past 6 months? Hold on a second. Not 6 months, but since February. Well, it was 6 months, 8 months. And so the problem with that is that the company, cancel all the co-ops. They can either cancel the co-ops permanently or they can move the students to the following year or so. This is in line with the regulation from the federal law. This is also in line with the regulation from the state law. And so if the states says that no large gathering in the building, then you cannot do that. Even in our university, for each building, we expect professors to occupy, administrators to occupy 50% or less. So if we see that a building is being occupied by 50% or more, then they would ask us to leave as well. So whenever we're done with our work, they would ask us to leave and not just stay in the office until the end of the day. So I think it all depends on situation per case by case. But to answer your questions, it all depends on the type of co-op that you're planning to do. If you're doing your co-op in other engineering fields that require heavy machinery, that's gonna be a problem, especially also in our university when let's say that we have 10 heavy machines, we will only allow maybe about 25% or so occupants, students. So you have 10, maybe we only allow like 3 or 4 students to go ahead, use the heavy machinery, and then you need to put your mask and then face shields and make sure you wash your hand and do social distancing.
Okay, thank you, Professor Julius. Professor Yusti, would you like to also answer the question? The tips on...
Yeah,
Yes.
so like Professor Julius has alluded to, it depends on the kind of job that you're performing for the companies, and it can also depend on the companies, what they want to do or how they're going to handle that. From what I've heard from students and some companies, um, where if the nature of the job if the nature of the job makes you come to the workplace, they usually have this rotational schedule. For example, I know some students who still have their co-op jobs, but instead of going to work every day of the week, they have to come into work maybe 2-3 times a week. And then, so 2-3 times a week, you go to work, you do your work there, and other days you have to work from home. So it really depends. It really depends on the companies and the nature of the jobs. So there's really no one set answer to answer this question.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very uncertain times right now with the pandemic, and even the president of the United States has contracted the virus just yesterday. Yeah, it's very uncertain. So yeah, we'll see.
But
Okay.
Dr. Irfan, if I can make a couple of more statements.
Yeah.
I think this question alludes to the current higher education system in the U.S. I know that in many universities they have shut down campuses, and so classes shall be made online. I know in some campuses in Boston greater area, students have the options to attend class either online or they can come to campus. But normally, if they would prefer to come to campus, each campus would have a place where they are going to perform swab tests, and so they want to make sure that students are not infected with COVID-19 before they're allowed to be on campus. So I know this is an ongoing process, and we're all trying to learn with what we have. And so for those of you who are planning to come to the U.S., you know, you will be subjected to the to such thing that, you know, they have to do swab tests on you before you're allowed on campus. Now, I think that's the addition I want to make. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. The next question is in Bahasa Indonesia, so let me speak in Bahasa Indonesia. Dan selanjutnya dari Muhammad Farhan Ramadan dari Universitas Singaperbangsa Karawang, Departemen Teknik Industri. Jadi mungkin Pak Yusti ya bisa menjawab dulu. Pertanyaannya sangat menarik ini. Ini mungkin juga pertanyaan yang banyak ditanyakan teman-teman. Bagaimana kiat-kiat untuk berusaha menguasai bidang yang tidak kita sukai? Wah, ini unik ini. Tidak kita sukai. Wah, bagaimana? Jadi mungkin sudah terlanjur masuk kuliah di mungkin di mana begitu ya. Terus tapi tetap punya keinginan untuk menguasai gitu ya. Walaupun nggak suka gitu ya, tapi ingin mungkin. Silakan.
Kalau saya boleh usahakan untuk jawab dulu. Kalau Anda baru akan mulai atau barusan mulai, kalau bisa jangan. Karena kenapa? Kalau Anda ingin melakukan S2 atau S3, terutama S3, S3 itu dedikasi. Karena itu nggak pendek loh. Dan untuk mendapatkan S3 itu butuh banyak perjuangan, butuh banyak pengorbanan, waktu dan tenaga. Dan usahakan kalau melakukan sesuatu yang Anda tidak benar-benar suka, kan? Dan seandainya kalau dipaksa pun hasilnya tidak akan bisa maksimal. Dan mana ada orang yang bisa melakukan pekerjaan dengan baik atau to the very best kalau ini bukan yang mereka punya passion gitu loh. Tapi kalau sudah terlanjur, ya gimana ya? Profesor Julius, kalau sudah terlanjur gimana?
Jadi itu semua agak relatif ya. Kalau misalnya memang enggak suka tapi sudah hampir lulus ya bisa sih dipaksakan ya. Tapi kan mungkin hasilnya kurang maksimal. Ini waktu tahun 2014-2015 di kampus yang lain, ada teman saya dulu ngomong ke saya begini, Prof. Julius, dulu saya pernah punya murid 5 tahun lalu katanya, ini berarti tahun 2008-an ya. Loh, masalahnya kenapa ya? Oh ya, murid saya ini dia ngambil itu engineering, tapi itu enggak lulus-lulus 8 tahun S1-nya. Jadi saya selalu menasihati dia, jangan lagi ngambil di mechanical engineering atau di electrical engineering atau di bioengineering atau di mana gitu kan, karena kan pindah-pindah. Jadi saya bilang ke muridnya, sekarang kenapa sih kamu selalu pindah-pindah engineering gitu ya? Dibilang, oh ya itu karena orang tua saya gitu kan. Oh ya, sekarang hati kamu sendiri maunya kemana? Saya maunya ke bisnis gitu kan. Jadi habis 8 tahun, muridnya ini pindah ke bisnis, lulus 3-4 tahun, lalu nilainya selalu bagus-bagus, hampir selalu nomor 1, dan setelah itu dia lulus sekolah, baru sekitar 10 tahun kemudian ketemu lagi kan dengan beliau, bilang katanya, bukan 10 tahun, habis dia lulus tahun 2 tahun kemudian ketemu dengan beliau, bilang, oh iya itu apa namanya, pas dia balik, dia kelihatan sangat bahagia sekali dan nggak stres. Jadi kalau menurut saya, kalau misalnya memang nggak suka, mungkin ada bagusnya ya melihat alternatif yang lain dulu. Tapi saya juga melihatnya juga jangan terlalu terburu-buru kalau diganti. Mungkin sekarang nggak suka, tapi juga mungkin suatu hari juga akan suka juga. Contohnya, saya dulu paling nggak suka itu public speaking ya. Oh, takut atau gimana gitu kan. Tapi lama-lama setelah perlahan-lahan akhirnya lama-lama suka kan gitu. Jadi saya rasa ini masalahnya case by case ya. Tapi saya merasa untuk masalah ini memang mungkin bagusnya kita bicarakan di antara kita aja gitu ya. Biar saya lebih mengerti sebenarnya proses yang terjadinya itu seperti apa sih sebelum saya mengambil keputusan. Kira-kira begitu ya.
Oke, terima kasih. Ini saya tadi mencari yang bertanya itu di daftar partisipan, tidak ada yang mungkin pertanyaannya dari YouTube mungkin. Oke, ada pertanyaan berikutnya. Ini kaitannya dengan CV. CV. Because the question was written in English, let me present the question in English.
Okay.
The question came from two people with similar questions. One is from Ihsan Maulana Supangkat from ITS, and also Aan Jiwa, who's a lecturer, Pak Aan Jiwa from Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha. So the question about the CV is, what chance do we have if we have little achievements on CV, but we have a good research proposal? That's the first question from ITS, the student from ITS. And from Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, Aan Jiwa, a lecturer there, he asked, how can we write a CV and proposal to get a fast response from the potential supervisor? Pak Julius, can you answer?
Yeah, so in terms of deadline, there are two types of deadlines, right? So assuming that we have a deadline on December, let's say December 1st, 1 Desember misalnya. So one of the two can happen. So a certain university can say, well, we are not going to look at any applicants until December the 1st. And then after December 1st, we're going to have a meeting, and then we are going to talk about all the applicants. We also have a second version of it where, yes, the deadline is on December the 1st, but if you apply, next week, each week we will review the candidates, and then if we find somebody that we believe needs to be fast tracked, then we are going to help these people with whatever we can. So it's really important to figure out what the culture looks like in that university or in that college or in that department. Now, at least in my department, if you submit something by next week, oftentimes I get a notification, and I can take a look at the candidate and move on from there. So it's really important for you to have a voice within the university if you want to have a faster response. I noticed that as well. So for example, if you apply to a university, let's say to University A, and we have diaspora, and so the diaspora can be your voice in getting a faster response. Mind you that we have a lot of applicants, we have thousands of applicants, and so these professors will need a voice that is recognized by the university. So that jadi diaspora yang di Universitas A tersebut can give, hey, my name is A, and I want to point to you that there's a candidate by the name B. I believe this candidate B is a really great person. I've talked to B. I have seen the CV, and B has my highest recommendation. And should you have any questions about it, you're more than welcome to talk to me. And so you need to have that voice that carries through the chain of the admission, and making your presence known. That's probably one of the hardest and frustrating thing. That's why on my presentation, I give you the list of people that you can reach out to if you want to, or you can reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to be that voice to help you out in order to fast track your document, your paperwork. So that's one. To answer Dr. Ivan about the CV, once again, it's a holistic review. So you are a little bit lacking in terms of publications. We all have been there, it happened to us. But what is it that you can do to substitute for that? we will look at your, not just we, but many universities in the US will look at your work that that you are performing after you finish your school. We're gonna be looking at your service, and we're gonna be looking at all the wonderful things that you can put in order to substitute your lack of publication. So not substitute, but just to add more into the whole package. So I personally would not be discouraged not having many publications. As this is fine, especially when you're trying to pursue your graduate school master program. We do understand, we fully understand that. But what we ask you is that once you get accepted to graduate school in the US, make a target that you can at least publish 2 papers per year. Hopefully that's one per semester. You can go from a technical one. So for electrical engineering, you have IEEE. For mechanical, you have something else. I can't remember. I can't recall the name of it. If you want to go into a more teaching paper oriented paper, you can go with ASEE, American Society of Engineering Education, and get your presence known out there. I think that's one of the hardest thing to do. But once you get past that that period in your life, I think the rest gonna be coming just fine. So that's my take on that one, Dr. Irfan.
Thank you very much, Prof. Julius. Okay, about Pak Yusti, Professor Yusti.
Ya,
Do you have
silakan.
anything to add? Or can we?
Kalau saya bilang dari pertanyaan tadi itu, kan tujuannya CV itu kan untuk menjual dirimu kan. Jadi kalau memang daftar publikasinya nggak banyak, ya mau gimana, tetapi kan harus bisa diimbangi dengan prestasi yang sudah diraih. Kalau misalnya, oke, mungkin publikasi nggak banyak, tapi punya banyak pengalaman, pernah di sini, pernah kerja di tempat ini, untuk membangun ini, itu pokoknya yang semuanya yang positif itu yang ditonjolkan untuk mengimbangi kekurangan tidak punya banyak publikasi. Jadi, at the end of the day, you have to be able to sell yourself and tell the committee, yes, I did not have that much in publication, but I do have other things that other people do not have. And what are those? Let me explain to you. This is what I have. Does that make sense? Aku udah bisa ngomong bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia sekarang.
Yeah, sangat jelas. It's very clear. I hope it's very clear. And the next question, I think, is aimed towards Bapak Yusti. It's in bahasa Indonesia. There are 2 questions that are similar about co-op. So the first question is from Galih Salahuddin, ITS. Apakah co-op ini menghabiskan Pak SKS ya? Itu mungkin Bapak-bapak ya, Pak Yusti dan Pak Julius, mungkin apakah familiar dengan SKS? Jadi credits. Jadi SKS.
Jadi pertanyaannya ini kalau boleh Dr. Irfan, karena saya tahunya dari tempat saya, jadi saya jawabnya dari universitas saya ya, Dr. Irfan ya, kalau diperbolehkan. Jadi kalau di tempat saya itu sudah pakai bahasa Indonesia atau pakai bahasa Inggris ya, Dr. Irfan?
Bahasa Indonesia.
Bahasa Indonesia, mohon maaf. Ya, jadi untuk di tempat saya, untuk murid-murid S1, mereka wajib harus melakukan 2 co-op, 2 kali 6 atau 8 bulan untuk lulus S1. Jadi memang targetnya kami ini memang harus punya hands-on experience. Jadi kalau sampai nanti dapat email dari bos co-op-nya, Anda itu kerjanya tidak benar, ya tidak bakal lulus S1, kira-kira begitu. Untuk mengenai SKS, itu memang tidak ada SKS-nya, tapi itu memang sudah di-built-in untuk kelulusannya. Jadi itu tidak ada SKS-nya. Tapi untuk mendaftarkan diri untuk ke co-op-nya itu memang ada peraturannya. Contohnya, Untuk co-op yang pertama, untuk S1 harus mengambil 2 semester dulu. Baru nanti boleh mendaftarkan diri untuk ngambil co-op. Nanti ada websitenya. Di websitenya itu nanti ada pilihannya. Misalnya ada login, nanti ada pilihan 100 company, terus 100 company-nya itu tulis rate-nya berapa. Ada yang bayarnya $20 per jam gitu kan, ada yang bayarnya $50 per jam, ada juga kemarin yang beruntung $70 per jam, itu ada juga. Jadi itu semua tergantung apa yang diberikan dari company-nya. Untuk S2 itu tidak perlu co-op untuk lulus. Tetapi banyak murid-murid yang mengambil tempat kami dan juga S3 karena ada program co-op-nya. Dan untuk S2 itu, untuk S1 paling banyak 3, wajibnya 2. Untuk S2 wajibnya enggak ada, tapi paling banyak bolehnya 1. Jadi biasanya untuk tempat S1, S2 kami itu nunggu sekitar 2-3 semester. Jadi kita melihat dulu kemampuan muridnya, baru nanti kita cocokkan dengan apa yang company teman-teman partner kami membutuhkan. Kalau misalnya pas, ya silakan mendaftar, nanti bisa interview dan sebagainya. Jadi untuk masalah co-op-nya tidak ada SKS, tapi untuk S1 perlu untuk kelulusan. Untuk S2 itu biasanya dipakai sebagai batu loncatan. Nah, jadi untuk murid saya yang kemarin yang bekas jadi teaching assistant saya, itu dia dapat dapat co-op di company yang namanya A misalnya. Nah, lalu setelah dia dapat co-op di company A, dia 1 semester tempat kami, baru habis itu lulus. Jadi pas semester terakhirnya itu, Dr. Irfan, itu sudah disodorkan surat kontrak untuk dia kerja untuk company A-nya ini setelah dia lulus dari sekolah. Jadi memang presentasinya murid itu untuk lulus langsung kerja itu memang sangat tinggi sekali, sangat tinggi sekali. Jadi saya merasa itu hal yang positif untuk dimasukkan ke resumenya, kira-kira begitu ya.
Oke, terima kasih, Prof. Julius. Prof. Yusti, silakan, Prof.
Saya nggak ada tambahan, itu sudah dijawab dengan Pak Julius dengan clear, dengan
jelas.
Yes.
Jelas dan panjang lebar. Oke, pertanyaan kedua.
Bahasa Indonesia itu apa?
Iya, pertanyaan kedua masih tentang co-op. Ini, jadi pertanyaannya mungkin sebenarnya ditujukan kepada saya nih sebagai dosen di Indonesia ini. Jadi ada pertanyaan dari Muhammad Farhan Ramadan, Universitas Singapura Karawang. Apakah ada perguruan tinggi di Indonesia yang menerapkan co-op? Dari sudut yang Prof. Yusti, mungkin Prof. Yusti dulu. Prof. Yusti, apakah ada perguruan tinggi di Indonesia yang menerapkan co-op yang mirip dengan di USA?
Karena saya tidak pernah kuliah di Indonesia, saya nggak tahu jawabannya.
Oke.
Mungkin Pak Julius tahu.
Pak Julius.
Wah, saya nggak tahu ya.
Ini Indonesia, bukan, Merdeka Belajar, ya. Merdeka Belajar ya, program Merdeka Belajar. Oke, mungkin izinkan saya sedikit menjelaskan mungkin ya, bahkan mungkin kali ini dari saya mungkin ya. Jadi tentang perguruan tinggi Indonesia menerapkan co-op, kalau saya coba pahami penjelasan dari Pak Yusti, Pak Julius, co-op ini kan lebih mirip magang ya. Terus internship itu mungkin lebih mirip kerja praktek, gitu ya. Kerja praktek mungkin lebih ringan, magang itu agak lebih berat gitu ya, dan lebih panjang gitu ya. Nah itu kalau di Indonesia itu mulai digalakkan dengan program Merdeka Belajar. Jadi implementasinya memang sangat beragam di setiap perguruan tinggi, mungkin beda-beda. Kalau di kami itu ada bobot SKS-nya yang beda. Kalau KP, kerja praktek, internship itu kurang lebih senilai 3 SKS saja. Sedangkan magang itu bisa 1 semester penuh, full. 1 semester penuh, dan jumlah SKS-nya ya seperti SKS 1 semester gitu. Teknisnya tiap perguruan tinggi beda. Kalau di kami itu disetarakan dengan mata kuliah. Jadi ada mata kuliah yang diklaim diikuti gitu ya. Tapi itu digantikan pelaksananya menggunakan magang. Gitu. Itu kalau di kami. Mungkin di kampus lain agak beda. Itu konsep Merdeka Belajar ya, salah satunya adalah untuk meningkatkan itu ya, wawasan tambahan, keterampilan, skill dan lain-lain. Oke, baik. Mungkin waktunya juga tinggal 6 menit. Pertanyaannya sebetulnya ada beberapa, namun saya izin menyampaikan ini secara tertulis karena ini kelihatannya lebih cocok kalau dibalas one to one ya, karena ini lebih tentang admission dan lain-lain. Mudah-mudahan pertanyaan ini kami izin mengirimkan ini ya Pak, ke Pak Julius dan Pak Yusti.
Oh ya, enggak apa-apa, ya enggak apa-apa.
Kami coba kembalikan ke peserta. Saya rasa itu saja untuk hari ini. Pertanyaannya sangat-sangat menarik, co-op menarik, kita kaitkan dengan Merdeka Belajar. Saya rasa sesuai juga di Indonesia mulai ke arah sana juga, sebagai informasi. Dari saya sekian, saya ucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada Pak Julius dan Pak Yusti atas pemaparannya. Oh, sorry, I'm using Indonesian. Let's go back to English. I'm in the schedule. And that's all from myself. I will give the chance back to the MC. Ms. Nastiti, back to you.
Yes, Pak Irfan, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Irfan, Dr. Julius, and also Dr. Yusti. Thus, we could end the question and answer session, and I would like to invite you to give warm applause for our speakers and also our moderator today by clicking the reaction button in your screen. Let's do. Ta-da! Now we're clapping virtually. And ladies and gentlemen, wait a minute. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to express our gratitude to both speakers, great effort and valuable time, we are more than happy to award a certificate for both participants. Okay, this is the first is the certificate awarding to Dr. Julius Marbaun. Wait a minute.
Matur sembah nuwun ya. Terima kasih ya.
Terima kasih Bapak. And then the second, we would like to give certificate to Dr. Yusti.
Terima kasih semuanya, matur nuwun.
Sami-sami. Thank you so much for the contribution of both speakers. And now to capture the moment, we would like to invite all of you to turn on your video because this is the moment that we've been waiting for, virtual group photo. There will be 8 slides. So Bapak Ibu, saya undang Bapak Ibu untuk menyalakan kamera dan juga untuk tersenyum 8 hitungan. Teman-teman panitia siap? Baiklah, senyum. Oh, please don't spotlight me. Oke, 1, 2, 3, senyum pertama. Thank you. Second smile. Third smile. Fourth smile. Fifth smile. Let's do it 3 more times. 6, 7, and 8. Thank you so much for smiling for 8 seconds for us. Thank you so much. We will send the photo session to you along with the certificate and also the materials and also the recording of Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, before we end our session, I would like to inform you about knowledge sharing competition. So, Bapak Ibu, selain kami mengadakan virtual public lecture, kami juga encouraging participants untuk melakukan kompetisi diseminasi. Ini adalah informasinya. Kompetisi diseminasi kegiatan VPL People to People Engineering. Next. Oke. Mekanisme diseminasi adalah sebagai berikut. Peserta akan menerima link berisi rekaman dari PIC, akan dikirimkan setiap hari Senin. Kemudian peserta dapat memposting ulang, retweet, atau menyampaikan VPL hari ini atau pertemuan sebelumnya juga di media sosial, teman-teman, Bapak Ibu. Teman-teman dan Bapak Ibu juga bisa mengadakan workshop lokal di antara siswa. Diperkenankan bagi para partisipan untuk melakukan aksi sosialisasi lebih dari 1 kali untuk mengumpulkan poin sebanyak-banyaknya. Penyerahan dokumentasi setiap aksi diseminasi dapat dilakukan dengan mengumpulkan file dalam bentuk PDF atau JPEG melalui Google Form yang akan disediakan oleh ITS, yaitu intip.in/P2P VPL Competition. And then dokumentasi akan divalidasi dan harus dapat divalidasi. Jadi misalkan teman-teman upload di sosial Instagram gitu. Jadi you should put it in the highlight so we can validate it later. Peserta dengan poin tertinggi akan dipilih sebagai pemenang. Waktu pengumpulan dokumentasi sosialisasi adalah dimulai tanggal 28 September, sudah berlalu, sampai tanggal 15 Januari tahun 2021. Dan hadiahnya ada 2 beasiswa penuh untuk peserta di bidang engineering saja untuk mengikuti International Short Program di ITS di tahun 2021. Semoga corona sudah selesai Bapak Ibu, amin. Dan diutamakan yang mendapatkan beasiswa ini adalah mahasiswa. Ini adalah poinnya Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman. Untuk berbagi materi di media sosial ada poinnya, yaitu hanya 1, tapi semakin komplit dan kompleks yang dilakukan, maka poinnya semakin tinggi. Apabila ada tambahan kegiatan, maka Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman akan mendapatkan tambahan poin sebanyak 2 dengan cara membuat dan mengunggah laporan kegiatan. Itu linknya Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman, kami tunggu hasil sosialisasi dari Bapak Ibu. I think that's all for the mechanism. Now we have reached the end of this session. I would like to end it with knowledge is power. Knowledge shared is power multiplied. I think that's all, Bapak Ibu. Thank you so much for this session. Thank you for your participation, and we would like to invite you to be in our next virtual public lecture P2P. The next session would be delivered by Professor Ridwan Sakija from Missouri State University, United States. The title of the lecture would be Advances in Computational Material Science, Relevancy to Engineering Fields. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the meeting. Again, we would like to express our great appreciation for our speakers today, for our moderator, and all of you who have come to this event. We do hope everyone enjoy an insightful and fruitful program today. My name is Nastiti Frima. I'm from ITS Global Engagement. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Mbak Nastiti, actually, Professor George Anwar is with us here today.
Hi, George.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How's California?
Smoky.